So let's start. Who is on your tag team Mount Rushmore at this moment in time?
I got to tell you, I put a lot of thought into this one. There were a lot of teams that popped in my head for consideration because there are so many great tag teams in pro wrestling history. But then I went and I thought about it, and I thought about longevity, and I thought about who was was decorated across many different promotions over many different decades. And the team that I went with.
What up, everyone? Today we're watching Matt Hardy talk about his tag team Mount Rushmore. Yeah, we're going deep into tag team history on his end and some hot takes. Let's get right into it.
We turn our attention this week to a pretty cool topic. We, of course, are doing the Mount Rushmores of Matt Hardy. We will be talking about a variety of different types of Mount Rushmores. In the past, on our Ask Matt Anythings episodes, you've been asked about your tag team Mount Rushmore. Well, now in this long form episode, you're going to get a chance to take a deep dive and explain why these teams, why these people are on your personal Mount Rushmores. And I love my favorite episodes of this are when you enlighten. So I hope that you will live to enlighten people on this episode and give a fresh perspective on why some of these people may sit on your respective Mount Rushmores. Some may be underrated names, some may be expectations. So I'm excited to get into it here.
So, like I said, John Alba is a sports writer. He does other sports outside of wrestling, but he also did a podcast years ago called Living the Gimmick. He was a really good podcaster on wrestling. This was years ago before wrestling podcasts became such a big thing now. Is when we had a few people talking about it, and some of the videos were on Apple Podcasts when it was available, but most of these people did it on YouTube too. He was one of them. Eventually, he was able to move some of it to Apple with his co-host. But eventually, his life got more busy. He became more and more involved in sports writing. He does. He works, I think, in New York One S1 or whatever channel runs the Mets games, and he sports commentate there. He also has been recently involved with Sports Illustrated, talking about wrestling. He was part of the team that did the Sports Illustrated Awards that I talked about a few weeks prior. If you haven't checked out that video, please do so when you get a chance. But he's very knowledgeable, he's very intelligent, he knows probably way more than anyone I've ever heard. But anyway, a little introduction about John Alba. Obviously, we know who Matt Hardy is, and we're going to get some old school wrestler talk from him. So can't wait to hear what he has to say.
All right.
I gotta ask you this, John, before we go any further.
Sure.
Have you actually been to Mount Rushmore?
I have not been to Mount Rushmore. Have you?
I have, yeah.
What do you think of it?
I dig it. I think it's very cool. It's pretty amazing that that was able to be created, especially so far back in the past.
Yeah.
It's quite a sight to behold.
I'm really bad with that stuff.
Who in the
I'll
chat's
never forget,
been
I was on
to
tour with-
Who in the chat's been to Mount Rushmore? Let me know. I'm going to speed this up though. I don't think we need to get into his thoughts about Mount Rushmore. Respectable, but that's not what we're here for. Let's continue.
with my band. We went through Canada for the first time. We get to Niagara Falls.
You get better with age, trust me.
I would hope that I do.
You will.
But I get over to Niagara Falls, take a look at the water. Let's say that is
All right.
pretty.
They're
12
getting
hours seems a little extreme.
People do it. People
Yeah.
do it. They sit there and they stare at the water. That's just beyond me. Send me
You-
over the barrel. Let me see.
I've never been to Niagara Falls, and I'm
You gotta take
the
it in
close.
and
I'm close to
I
it.
think all these things is just all about the experience. Take a couple pictures and try and document your time while you were there. But it is important to see stuff while you're out and about.
You're too poor to see what Mount Rushmore. Is it that expensive to go there? I didn't know. Is it just because of the trip, or just to get in? Are they charging like Disney World prices at Mount Rushmore? Because that would be ridiculous. With Niagara Falls, there's two ways to see it. You can see it in the Canada side through Toronto, or whatever the town is near Toronto, or through Buffalo. That's two ways you can see it. I'm in Virginia. To get there is why. The travel. It's the same for me, man. All
You
right.
never know. You may never be back there again.
Did you know that WWE used to have a tourist store at Niagara Falls?
100%, yeah.
You did know this.
They had a tourist
and
spot?
it had an attraction. And to this date, it is the only WWE ride in history.
Yeah, I did know that existed.
It's extreme.
WWE.
Well, not anymore. They had over Halloween at Universal the attraction with the Wyatt Six. So obviously this I keep forgetting this was recorded way before that happened. But now we have that. Whether it's coming back, we don't know. So I'm gonna fast forward this because they keep talking about this. Can we? Yeah, 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 yep.
Fond of Mount Rushmore.
There we go.
Hit us
So
with it. Mount Rushmores, man. This is good.
I paid that much. Paid that much. Invested in.
Who was your favorite XFL player? He hate me.
Wow,
Of course. he hated
XFL
me?
stuff.
He hate me.
Let's not talk about it. We don't know anything.
Mount Rushmores, man. This is gonna be a fun one.
There we
that
go.
Before we start our conversation, we always gotta get that Matt fact. So hit us with it.
Matt fact. Matt is very fond of Mount Rushmore.
Who's your favorite president on Mount Rushmore?
It's just got to be George Washington because our instances, are so closely related.
Very true.
Wow.
I had him. He lived for the longest time.
How is it that they keep going at this?
Poor
Is this how
George Washington,
podcasts
in essence,
really
moved on
work?
From that particular giraffe he was in, so he's no longer.
They let
with
their
us now.
phone ring during a
it's like
podcast.
we
Shame
can
on
make
them.
lessons. Who knows?
That's
Maybe so,
the,
yeah.
All right.
that's the Matt Hardy. So
Thank
Mount
you.
Rushmore. This is a wrestling conversation that is thrown around between a bunch of buddies when they're talking. You always hear it in traditional sports. Who's on your Mount Rushmore? Who's on blah, blah, blah. So, given your perspective on the industry, I figured it would be cool if we talked about a bunch of different Mount Rushmores and see who fit on each one for you. And the first one that I believe we start with, as you sip from your assortment of beverages, would be Tag Team Mount Rushmore. Now, I asked you about it before on Ask Matt Anything. I know you don't remember the answers that you gave them, which is good because I want a fresh thought and a fresh perspective here.
He forgot him already. Okay, we'll see.
So let's start. Who is on your tag team Mount Rushmore at this moment in time?
At this moment in time,
Because that will change over the years, I'd imagine.
it absolutely will. At this moment in time, the first team that comes to mind, which was a great team, did amazing things for the business, but that was literally what they did. They were like a career team, and you know exactly what I'm going to say. That is the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. I mean, they have to go in first and foremost. I think people are typically going to look at them as like probably the greatest tag team ever because that was just their gig, and they were.
Okay, so right away you can feel that Matt Hardy is going to give you that old school wrestler. That's amazing. We're already starting hot. The Road Warriors, obviously one of the greatest tag teams out there. It's great. And let me see if I can pull them up. For those who don't know who they are. Road Warriors, what a rush. Here we go. Road Warriors. Animal and Hawk. So this is his first entry as of that time of that podcast. They are in his Mount Rushmore and more so deservingly. So they are one of the great tag teams out there. RIP to them.
Were extremely successful. It would be really, really interesting if you had the Legion of Doom in today's climate, because the Legion of Doom, they would literally go to the ring and they would kill guys on TV in 50 seconds, 60 seconds. Come in, beat up, Doomsday Device. That was it. And they had some matches that were okay, that were good, but like now there's such a high demand for quality work rate in a match. It's just real interesting if the Legion of Doom in their prime were thrust into the pro wrestling scene in 2022. Are they the same? Do they get the same reaction? Do people view them the same? Do people say, get these?
So to clarify to some, he keeps saying Legion of Doom. The Legion of Doom is the same. They went by both names. I believe the Road Warriors, they perform as the Road Warriors in AWA, the NWA, and WCW. And the Legion of Doom is how they perform in WWE. So, and you'll have both names in the history books, but that's why he's going based on that. In case anyone's confused, it's the same group. We're talking about the same thing.
Two muscled up goofs off my screen. I want to see guys go out and I want to see someone put on a 5-star match, a 6-star match. You know what I mean? That's what's super interesting about the Legion of Doom. And I feel like that's something you have to always remember when talking about that. But for the time, whenever they wrestled and they performed, they were unbelievable. They drew money. They were incredibly over. They sold a ton of merchandise.
Are you saying they had to for legal reasons? Legion of Doom was cause WWE couldn't get the rights to Road Warriors. Makes sense. They couldn't get the rights from WCW. Is that the reason? It's Hawk and Animal. I'm sorry. Raisa is already schooling me in tag team wrestling. My weakest spot in wrestling. I will say it. Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal. They're on WWE WrestleMania game for the SNES. Pretty good tag team in there. Let's continue.
Okay,
Any
so
thoughts on that, John?
that's one of your 4. I agree entirely with what you just posed,
Yeah.
being that if they did not come in at the exact time that they did in the
Yeah.
exact place that they did, I'm not sure the Legion of Doom are who they ultimately become legacy-wise. Because I think about, say, around 2005, 2006 in WWE.
Yeah.
When you get a bunch of those weird, irrelevant tag teams that came through that were kind of built in the same vein of the Road Warriors.
Thank you, Mitch Kopsky, for the subscription. Much appreciated, man. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. Now, to highlight some of the stats for the Road Warriors Legion of Doom, in case anyone needs to know, they are the Hardcore Hall of Fame class of 2021. They are also part of Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame from 2002 and NWA Hall of Fame of 2012. The Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame and Museum class of 2011. And wow, they have a lot of accolades. It's kind of crazy. In terms of championships, if they let me read it properly, they are 2-time WWF Tag Team Champions. They are part of the 2011 class of WWE Hall of Fame. It doesn't. Did they ever? They never. They are in Jim Crockett's version promotion of WCW. They were the NWA World 6-Man Tag Team Championship 3 times with Dusty Rhodes 2 times and Genichiro Teryu the 1 time. And they were the NWA World Tag Team Champion for 1 run. Let's continue.
Warriors. And you know what I'm talking about, like the dicks. And
Yeah.
like stuff like that. And obviously the gimmicks are not comparable in any sense of the imagination.
Yeah.
But Heidenreich, like those types that come through that are clearly built in the mold of the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, I just don't know if that works. But then every now and then you do get a lightning in a bottle where you get a guy like, say, Ryback, okay, who say what you want about Ryback. But when he came in, he was hot. People were into Ryback.
Yes, Ryback was hot when he first started, and then it fizzled out, unfortunately. And it was because he was hurting people. We move forward.
Back when he came in. And that's kind of that same Legion of Doom, Road Warriors type of performer, if you will. Not to say that Road Warriors were super
a little bit too. And I think Ryback was a lot more athletic than Hawk
Sure.
Down too, you know, in the big scheme of things.
I agree. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
the same like box. They're in that same thing.
Why are we talking about Ryback?
Not quite as multi-dimensional as some of the other great tag teams.
Right.
But boy, howdy, in an era where crowds ate that shit up of these muscle meat heads looking like badasses coming to the ring.
Yeah, the Feed Me More. The Feed Me More chant was very addicting to say. Feed me more. Feed me more. It was that era's yeet movement. And then it died.
Fault anyone for having them on their Mount Rushmore. They are not personally on mine. And I'll give you mine after I hear all of yours. But that's one of your 4. So who's number 2?
Who's number 2, guys?
Number 2 is the Rock and Roll Express.
Ah, man, I was going to say, what do you guys think?
And I think more than anything, I think they are one of the first teams that were established as like babyface heartthrobs. They have incredible longevity. They won tag titles in many different promotions. And I think that's a big deal too. I think that's very important that you haven't just been like champion in one place and been protected in one company. I think you need to be able to venture out and go to other places and be successful there as well. So the Rock and Roll Express is definitely on that list for me when I think about it, because they are.
So Rock and Roll Express, they were inducted a few years ago in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2017. Um I didn't follow them much, um obviously because they're from an older era of wrestling and I barely paid attention to them. But let's look at their highlights. They were a lot of champions throughout many uh promotion territories. If we want to focus on the big ones, they were NWA World Tag Team Champions 4 times under the Mid Atlantic version. They were the NWA World Tag Team Champion 1 time under Korean Pro Wrestling Association. They were NWA Hall of Fame in class of 2006, and they were NWA World Tag Team Champions under the NWA 2 times. Under WWE, they were just part of the Hall of Fame. They are not that involved in WWE. This is why I don't remember them. I don't know. Oh yeah, I do remember them showing up at AEW a few bit. Yeah, they were just in WWE. They were just inducted World Wrestling Federation. Here we go, 98. A year later, they were in the WWF for a brief stint as part of the NWA angle managed by former rival James E. Crockett. They then used the Rockers' old theme music. Their first appearance came on Monday Night Raw when they faced Skull and 8 Ball on January 12, 1998 in State College, Pennsylvania, and lost via disqualification. During their time in the company, they appeared at WrestleMania 14. Nope. Yeah, 14. In March 1998 in a tag team battle royale, which has won by the Legion of Doom 2000. They also had feuds with Legion of Doom 2000 and the New Midnight Express, having an NWA tag team title match at the WWE pay-per-view Unforgiven against them. Not the they used the Rockers' old theme, but I'm talking his second tag team is the Rock and Roll Express, who, as far as I understand, and please correct me because I am not that familiar with them, they were mostly in promotional territory in WCW. It doesn't look, they barely had stints in WWE. They were in 92, 96 in WWF. Their rivalry carried over to World Championship and then WWF in 1993, spinning. Yeah, there's not much in them. I've heard great things about them, but I unfortunately didn't get to experience them. I should watch more of their matches just to educate myself. Again, tag team championship, weak point of mine.
Are the kind of the catalyst which set up the Rockers into the Hardys, into the Young Bucks. You know, they were the guy who kind of like started that. They were the original mold of like the babyface, high flying, heartthrob tag team.
Sure.
How you feel about those guys?
I mean, they're absolutely online, 100%. And
Yeah.
I think that, like you said, everyone that has come after that in some capacity has taken from the Rock and Roll Express. Mm-hmm. Also, adding to the legend that they're still out there today.
Yeah.
Doing it. And Ricky specifically is still crushing it and having fun matches doing Canadian Destroyers, because you know what Ricky Morton could have done, Matt Hardy, that he didn't do? Ricky Morton could have said, fuck all this new age tag team wrestling. I'm going to do what I did in the 80s. I'm going to do what I did in the early 90s, and everyone's going to have to work to what I can do. But instead, he said, no, this is where wrestling's going. This is what wrestling can be, and I'm going to try and adapt to it.
And he's embraced it, which is great. It's amazing. I love Ricky. He's so great. He's so open-minded. He's definitely evolved, and he's very open to try new things, and he sees how the business has changed, and he's willing to change with it, which is a very important part of surviving in this industry.
Yeah, and he reserved the right to say, I don't need to embrace this. I've earned my legacy, and it's going to sit with how it is. But he wasn't that way. So that was cool. Okay, so that's two of your first two there. You got
what I love about his logic behind it. It's not reactionary or him thinking nostalgia as a, because at this time when he's talking about two tag teams that he watched as a kid, it feels like you really see the level of respect he has for these two tag teams and the level of knowledge he shares. It shows how it impacted him and probably his brother as well throughout their career. He definitely has a deep respect for these tag teams. Let me unpause it because he looks weird right now.
Two more on your Mount Rushmore.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and knock this one out and piss people off right from the jump. And obviously, I'm going to be biased on this. I am going to put the Hardys on this list, and the reason being is because we've had pretty incredible longevity. We've been trailblazers, we've been groundbreakers, and not only were we super successful in WWE, but we also found success in TNA, Impact, ROH, and I still think before it's all said and done, we're going to find great success in AEW, especially.
So this video was made when they were in AEW. There we go. Come on, guys. All he's saying is pure facts. The fact that they've been able to be around for this long, how long they've been, they debuted in 1995, and they're still going as we speak. The Dudleys are gone. All the tag teams they work with are gone, and they're still able to recreate themselves. They did the broken a broken Matt Hardy gimmick. They did Brother Nero gimmick. They did those weird matches in TNA and the compound. And they were able to come back WWE. They tried their best to recreate it again, but the magic never strikes twice, unfortunately. Sometimes stuff that works in other promotion doesn't really work at the next one. There's been obviously history about it, and the Hardys is one of them. But yeah, the Hardys have always been able to recreate themselves and always been able to evolve with the times. Now, obviously, if you see them now at TNA, and I've seen them in House of Glory, they are a little slower in their step, but it's going to be they probably have a few years left. But they are an amazing tag team. I loved watching them when I was young in the Attitude Era, and even after that, as they evolved throughout their ages. I've seen them since the Hardy Boyz until they just became the Hardys. They're an amazing tag team. They're definitely in my Mount Rushmore. If I were to talk about Mount Rushmore today, the Hardys are definitely in there. Are they my top number one tag team? No. But they are one of my top 5. So yeah, very obvious, solid choice. And yeah, he should be greedy because he knows what he's done for the business. He's inspired a lot of people, him and his brother. And they were able to do somewhat successful singles runs. I feel Matt Hardy did a better singles run in TNA, while Jeff Hardy had a good run in WWE. He's done a good one also in TNA. We don't talk about Victory Road, though, with AJ Styles. Shh. We don't talk about that one. If you know, you know. But, yeah, let's move forward. Sorry about that. Got a little into that one.
Especially once Jeff gets to where he needs to be when he gets his head right. So our longevity of doing this for 25 years is such a high level, especially Jeff, because he does so many insane things, and still his work rate is still so high, especially with the risk he takes and the chances he takes and the things he's been able to put his body through. But definitely trailblazers who have had success across many different promotions over many different decades. So I'm sure that'll piss a lot of people off, but I'm going to put that on there. And I thought about this very in great depth today as I was going through this.
Yeah, you might be surprised here.
Come on. That reaction right there, that's pure personality from Matt. You can tell when a wrestler has genuine memories tied to these teams. Obviously, he's being very connected to himself, obviously. But he's thought about this. He's thought about it well. And I agree with him. And he doesn't, who cares? If people are pissed that someone picks their own team, he has a legit reason to. Now, if you tell me I don't know, I don't know, the Grand Americanos right now, they call themselves the greatest tag team. I'm like, hold on there, you just started. Talk to me in 25 years like the Hardys are.
The Hardy Boyz are on my Mount Rushmore too. But listen, biased, sure. You can. I'll take the tweets. I don't.
Give me a 1 in the chat who has the Hardys in their Mount Rushmore. And if not, at least tell me if they're one of your top teams. Just give me a 1 in the chat either way. Come on.
Sure, you can call me biased, whatever you want to say.
Call me biased too.
Call Matt Hardy biased too. Sure.
Give me the heat. I want the heat.
Listen, it's a miracle that you guys have been able to stamp your legacy, given that you've been in wheelchairs since you were 23. So
yeah, you're right.
I can't believe that you've wrestled through that. That's truly impeccable, and that alone puts you on Mount Rushmore even further. But
indeed,
listen, there is. You can say what you want as a fan and say, well, I love the Attitude Era. I love the Monday Night Wars.
1000.
All this. And it was the hottest time in wrestling history. There's never been a hotter time with more eyes on the product.
Yeah.
When people think of that era, they love the Dudley Boys for the tables. They love Edge and Christian for their personalities. But the one that every single casual person out there knows are the Hardy Boys, because they were the ones doing the crazy shit off the ladders.
Right.
Just every
Also, the ladies loved the Hardy Boys. The ladies loved them. I went to a signing of theirs. I've never seen so many women at a wrestling signing that it wasn't a women's wrestler. That says a lot.
7-year-old kid that grew up in my generation was jumping off banisters onto couches, doing swanton bombs and leg drops. I'm guilty of it myself. That's just when you have that sort of legacy where people emulate what you're doing.
Yeah.
Great athletes do that. When they see Derek Jeter step to the plate and a little kid wears number 2 at their Little League game because they saw Derek Jeter do that. And when they try to do the flip throw, because Derek Jeter did it, the leaping flip throw.
Right.
That's a Mount Rushmore athlete. And the
Sure.
Hardy Boys, in my opinion, because of the amount of influence they had on little kids and teenagers and young adults who are so fond to that era that they associate it with ladders and ladder matches. And you guys popularized the ladder match.
Yes.
The legendary ladder matches. I mean, you got to give it to Razor and Sean for making the ladder match itself memorable. But when it comes to tag team, yeah, they're one of the ones that made it memorable. The TLCs, my God, the TLC matches, they were always nice to watch.
That in itself, man, plus the reinvention, which is the whole precipice
The
of
Bears
this
about to
podcast.
start.
Reinvention
right.
is everything. So,
And I also I feel like the way we dressed whenever we joined with Michael Hayes was
fashion icons.
it was a catalyst for people wearing different things in the industry too, because we were kind of the first people that like wore something that was so drastically different like that at this point.
It was counterculture.
Where it got over and it was successful.
It was counterculture. It was pro wrestling counterculture.
Sure, yeah.
So that's what EC.
It was Ed Hardy, right? Ed Hardy is that clothing brand or whatever. They were following a certain group, and it worked for them during that era, and it probably still works today.
ECW was, right? ECW was counterculture. So the closest thing that WWE had to that was you guys and Team Extreme. So
people, so many of my friends had told me, said, "Holy fuck, man, I hated the indies because now after you guys started wearing these cakeware pants and these T. Riley shirts, like every jabroni in the business in the world, regardless of how their build was, even if they didn't go to the gym, they didn't work out, they would dress with these cakeware pants and they'd wear these tight T. Riley shirts, and all of a sudden now they're the Hardy Boys, they're wrestlers. Everybody was wearing that on the indie scene, especially on the East Coast. It was so popular. It was insane how many people sent me tapes or like like resumes or photos of them wrestling wearing Hardy Boy-esque type clothes.
They're trendsetters. Simple, clear, beautiful.
It's insane.
Well, Matt, I watch the indies very closely, and I'm able to watch the indies very closely because I've got IWTV. IWTV.live is independent wrestling's premier streaming service for live events and video on demand.
Oh, really?
Events for just $10 a month. IWTV.live offers 20 plus events streamed live. 10, just $10 a month.
Just 10.
Offers 20 plus events.
Look at them using WWE promo.
Independent wrestling promotions such as ICW No Holds Barred.
They made the Hot Topic a thing. Yes, the Hardys did definitely make Hot Topic a thing.
So
there we go.
We've got the Rock and Roll Express, the Road Warriors, the Hardy Boys. Who was the last team on Mount Rushmore?
All right, now I got to tell you, I put a lot of thought into this one. There were a lot of teams that popped in my head for consideration because there are so many great tag teams in pro wrestling history.
Okay,
and I was thinking through it. Some of the ones that really stood out is who could earn a spot here were Tully and Arn, which would be a great team. The Steiners, which were so great, and you even have to look at like newer teams like the Usos, who are doing.
Usos are great. They're going to be in a lot of people's lists in the years to come, if they're not already. The Steiner brothers were great too.
Doing a lot of great things right now.
New Day.
New Day.
New Day.
Qualified. But then I went and I thought about it, and I thought about longevity, and I thought about who was decorated across many different promotions over many different decades. And the team that I went with is the Dudleys.
Okay.
My number one team, guys. The Dudleys. Of course it's going to be the Dudleys. As soon as he said, across the board decorative. We are talking about one of the greatest teams here. The Dudley Boys. Chaos. Pure chaos. Look how many accolades they have in the WWE alone. Then in Total Nonstop. And then ECW, New Japan. Like, let's count it. Seriously. Let's take a look. Now this pick, let's talk about this. If you're a tag team fan, that choice either hits legendary or it doesn't. For most, I feel it's going to hit legendary because across the board, they are World Tag Team Championships, and this is just talking about them. Let's not forget Bully Ray had his own singles run. They're an 8-time World Wrestling Federation World Tag Team Champions. They are one-time tag team champions in the WWE when they had split brands titles. So they were a one-time champ through SmackDown brand. They were WCW World Tag Team Championship one time, but they never were in WCW. That's right. They got those belts during the Invasion era in WWE in the early 2000s. So they were a one-time WCW champion through that before they retired the belts. ECW champions 8 times. 8 times they were ECW champs. And as on TNA, they were one-time champs. So they, across the board, across promotions, they've been almost everywhere. They, to me, are the title pole, at least in this area of wrestling. Now, we could talk about we can talk about, and through New Japan, it's other groups. Obviously, the Young Bucks are another great tag team. But when it comes to this local area, the Dudleys, no doubt. Let's continue.
So that is who I'm going with.
Why the Dudleys?
Once again, over the course of a couple decades, these guys were WWE Tag Team Champions. They were the ECW World Tag Team Champions. They were the New Japan Tag
They
Champions.
are the most decorated tag team champions.
Yes, they are the most decorated tag team champions in history. And obviously, just thinking about it, I was like, where did these things? Where did these teams stand? It's like the Usos have done a lot of great things, but they've only been around 10 years or so, right? 9-10 years. You had the Dudleys who literally had, like almost 30-year runs, and they just won so many different tag team titles in so many different places and achieved so much success everywhere else. Edge and Christian, great tag team, won the tag team title so many times, but all of that happened just in WWE. I think there's a big thing to that too. I love the fact that Tully and Arn, I remember being so excited when Tully and Arn showed up as the Brainbusters on.
I'm curious what you guys think in about his options. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. Let me know your thoughts.
WWE television, because I thought they were so great as the Four Horsemen. Obviously, I was a big fan of Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen and those guys as well. I thought they were great with tag team wrestling. And I thought it was cool when they came to WWE because I love seeing teams that were great teams be able to transcend, and become tag team champions in another promotion. So ultimately, I end up saying the Road Warriors, the Rock and Roll Express, the Hardys, and the Dudleys. That is my Mount Rushmore of tag team wrestling.
Well, there you go, guys. Overall, I love the insight here from Matt. You get not just a list of names, but why these tag teams matter to someone who's lived in the business. If you enjoyed this reaction, smash the like, subscribe with, and drop your own tag team Mount Rushmore in the chat. I'll see you in the next one.